Hey, what are you doing over there with your face? Are you taking it out for a walk? Your face walk? Walk face? How are you? You gotta watch out. There's a bug on your ear. Hey, what the hell? How are you? Nick Digilio here, that's me. Check out my YouTube channel. I think you're doing that right now. Subscribe, it's free. Like, subscribe, all that shit that you're supposed to do. Punch this button, hit that thing, whatever. It's the internet, it's a bunch of shit. Hi. Check me out on Patreon, that's more important. Because you should donate. Become a patron, pick a tier, make a monthly donation, $3, $6, $25 a month. However little you want to give, every little bit helps. It helps all of us who are trying to make videos and tell stories and have fun. To do it DIY, we need help, and that's what it's all about. And you receive bonus content, extra videos that nobody else can get unless you donate and become a patron. So give some dough, help us all out, help me out in particular. I'm trying to keep this stuff going. It helps, on the other side, in a different world, it helps my podcast keep going. So if you like me, if you like the videos, don't be somebody who watches PBS and doesn't donate. Don't be a dick. Anyway, go to patreon.com/NickDShow. Patreon.com/NickDShow. Donate today. It helps a lot, and you'll get bonus content. So do it. And also my podcast, the Nick D Podcast at RadioMisfits.com. All right, so, hello. It is May the 4th. So it's supposed to be, you're supposed to say, May the 4th be with you. So I guess that, now here's the thing. So May the 4th be with you. This May the 4th, I guess you're supposed to celebrate Star Wars and all things Star Wars. And I remember when Star Wars came out in 1977, I knew it came out in May of 1977. So when this May the 4th thing started, where you're supposed to celebrate all things Star Wars, and May the 4th, be with you and all that stuff, I thought it was because the movie came out on May 4th, 1977. I was like, oh, must have come out on May 4th, 1977. And then I realized, no, it didn't come out on May 4th, 1977. It came out like in late May, like around Memorial Day, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember the exact date because I don't care about Star Wars. But so the thing is that, like, no, you're supposed to celebrate Star Wars today, because it sounds like May the 4th be with you. But it's not. It's May the 4th. So it's May the 4th be with you. So evidently you have a lisp. So that's what you're celebrating, having a lisp in May, by turning it into a celebration of Star Wars. So I never really understood it. I thought like when it first started, because I guess it started, I don't know how long ago. It started 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago. People started doing the celebration of Star Wars on May the 4th. And I just thought, because I don't know the history of Star Wars. I don't know because I don't fucking care. But it's essentially because it sounds like May the 4th. Instead, so even that's stupid. Even even the day that Star Wars fanatics have chosen to celebrate Star Wars is not a real anniversary or a real celebration. It just sounds like May the 4th. So even that's stupid. Even the day that people pick to celebrate Star Wars is fucking stupid. Anyway, happy May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. Stupid. Anyway, Star Wars. I know that I'm in the minority on this. I know that everybody loves Star Wars and a doo-ga-doo-doo-ba-doo, and it's meant so, and all that's awesome. You love movies that mean a lot to you. That's fantastic. And it's great. It's beyond me. It always has been. The Star Wars thing has always been sort of beyond me. But on this May the 4th, I thought I would talk about my personal choices for the best Star Wars movies. I should probably say that there's kind of only one, in my opinion, that's actually really great. So the Star Wars, I guess there are 12 movies, like technically in the canon of Star Wars, and there are 12 movies, a bunch of TV series, lots of animated TV series, that fall under the umbrella of Star Wars, and obviously the fan fiction and all the shit that's on the internet and the stuff that's generated by the millions and millions of Star Wars fanatics out there, and all kinds of offshoots and weird mini-series TV shows here and there. There's all the stuff now that's on Disney Plus, Mandalorian, which I've not seen a moment of, the Diary of the Boba Fett. I've not seen that. You got the Obi-Wan Kenobi thing coming up with Ewan McGregor. I won't see that. So there are all the TV shows and all that stuff that's continued by Jon Favreau, and all these other guys are continuing to do that. And I've not seen any of it, so I'm not counting any of that shit. Any of the TV shows, the animated series, the Saturday morning stuff, the straight-to-video shit, the tons of stuff that went straight to video. There's like a billion, trillion hours of Star Wars-related TV stuff, animated shit out there. The big stuff being the most recent stuff, like your Mandalorians and your Boba Fetts and all that shit. I haven't seen any of it, nor will I. But I guess there are 12 movies, 12 if you count the Clone Wars, which was an actual theatrically released movie, so you count that, as part of the official Star Wars canon of 12 movies. So I've seen them all. I've seen all 12 of these movies. So you have to understand, when Star Wars came out, okay, I was 11 on the verge of 12. Came out in 1977, May of 1977. I turned 12 in July of 1977. So I was about almost 12 years old. So technically, when the very first Star Wars came out, now it was called Star Wars then. It wasn't called A New Fucking Hope. It was called Star Wars. The title of that movie, by the way, is Star Wars, okay? It's not A New Hope. The title of that movie is Star Wars. That's what it was called when it was released, and that's what it will always be called to people who are not morons. To George Lucas, who likes to go back and change shit. Anyway, when Star Wars came out, I was like almost 12 years old. And it was a huge deal, if you weren't around then. Yes, all the pictures that you've seen or the videos that you've seen, lines around the block, people camping out to see it, people going back over and over and over hundreds of times in the movie theater to see it. Yes, the phenomenon was as big as you have been told. Yes, even bigger. So when it came out, I saw it immediately. At that point, 1977, I went to movies every weekend, saw at least 3 movies every week, 2 on Saturday, at least 1 on Sunday with my father down in the Loop, and would go to see every movie that came out. And by that point, I was a movie freak, I was a fanatic, and I loved horror movies, obviously, and sci-fi movies were cool and all that stuff. And I went to see Star Wars, and I went with my friends, I went with my dad. On a Saturday afternoon, we went to see it, and I was like, all right. When it was over, I was like, well, that was pretty cool. And all of my friends went ape shit. They all went nuts. Like 90% of the population did when that movie came out. I was part of the 10%, especially the 10% who was a child who should have loved it. But I was like, nah, I thought it was fine. I saw it a couple of times in the theater. I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 times in the theater. Because back in those days, you would go and see movies even if you didn't love them. You would go and see them again. Or at least I did. I would go and see a movie a couple of times in the theater. Even if I didn't love it, I'd go back and see it. If it was part of a double feature, you'd sit through it to get to the movie you really wanted to see. Back in the days when they had double features, I would go. So I saw Star Wars, I don't know, 3-4 times in the theater. And it was not revolutionary. It did not change my life. I did not freak out. I never had any of the toys. I do not and have never owned any piece of Star Wars memorabilia, from T-shirts to hats to toys. None of it. I've never had any of that. So all of that phenomenon, the games and the toys and the action figures, all that shit, foreign to me. Never not 1 millisecond did I own, play with, or even have any of the Star Wars toys or stuff that was marketed to people my age at that time. I did not care. So when Star Wars came out, my friends went nuts over it. They would go and see it over and over again. I'd be like, no, I don't want to. The movie, when a few months later, a science fiction movie came out the same year, 1977, and that was Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Now, that movie I flipped over. That was the movie in 1977, as far as science fiction movies went, by far. Close Encounters of the Third Kind was the one that captured my imagination, the one that I went nuts over. While my friends were going back, and this is absolutely true, we would go to a theater that had a couple of screens on it, or we go to the Norwich or something. My friends would go off and see Star Wars for the 50th time. I would go and see, okay, I'll meet you afterwards because I'm going to see Close Encounters again. And that was the movie that captured my imagination. I thought it was much more interesting. I cared more about it. I found it more fascinating. I found it more thrilling. Definitely captured my imagination, and what little intellect I had. Close Encounters hit me on that level much more than Star Wars. And not even and as far as comparing the two movies, it's not even close. Close Encounters of the Third Kind is in a million times better than Star Wars, and I don't even want to get into any kind of argument about that, because it's absurd to say that Star Wars is a better movie than Close Encounters, because it ain't. So anyway, that's the one that captured my imagination, Close Encounters. I cared more about that. So you have to understand, Star Wars stayed in the theaters. Now, if you're lucky that a movie stays in the theater for 2 weeks, and and that's been the case for a while. But now, especially because of streaming and COVID and all that stuff, movies are in the theaters for a much shorter period of time. I mean, fucking Batman was on HBO a month and a half after it was in theaters. The Batman. You used to have to wait 2 years for a movie to come on commercial TV. So anyway, Star Wars was in the movie theaters. It stayed in movie theaters until Empire came out. And Empire came out in 1980. So Star Wars was in movie theaters, first run for about a year and a half, almost 2 years. First run. Then it went to the other houses, the second run houses and double feature houses and stuff like that. So you could actually literally go to see Star Wars in a movie theater on any given day, between the day it came out in May of 1977 until May of 1980 when Empire came out. So, and then Empire came out. I liked Empire. I thought it was really good. I liked it more than Star Wars. I think Empire is better than Star Wars. I liked it more than Star Wars. And then in 1983, Return of the Jedi came out, and that's a piece of shit. So, I remember when Empire came out, I saw it with my buddy Larry Mountain. We saw it at the Esquire Theater the day it came out. Empire I saw in the theater, I don't know, maybe 3 times in the theater. And then Jedi came out. I went with a bunch of my friends. It was 2 weeks before I graduated high school. I went with a bunch of my high school friends to the Golf Mill to see it. And we all went, big group. I fucking hated it. I just thought, all right, I'm done with this Star Wars shit. I don't care. And my friends all thought it was not great, but it was really good. And they cared about it. And at the end, when everybody's dancing around and the little little furry Ewok jagoffs are dancing around like morons, and the dead people are coming back as ghosts and shit. Hey, bee-ba-doo-ba-dee-ba-doo, and they're dancing around. I'm like, fuck this nonsense. I didn't care. And by that point, I had discovered horror, and that happened during Empire, too. I didn't care about any of this shit, the toys, the Star Wars stuff. I don't care. At that point, in 1980, I wanted fucking horror. I wanted, this. I wanted horror. I didn't care about this shit. By the time Jedi came out, I was way beyond any kind of cutesy Ewok bullshit. So, the original trilogy, I thought the first Star Wars was fine. Didn't do it for me. Thought the Empire was good, and I still think it's a solid film. Jedi, crap. So then all the years go by. I don't care about it as, home video comes on, and new generations are discovering Star Wars, and everybody's loving it. I'm still, on the outs. Then they re-released the movies in 1997 with George Lucas tweaking everything and going in digitally and changing it. What's his ass? Greedo shoots first instead of Han to make Han not seem like the cold-blooded killer. All that shit. And then that's when we all realized that George Lucas is a fucking idiot, and that he just cares about the money and blah, blah, blah. And then that's when, a couple of years later, that's when the prequels came out. So Phantom Menace came out. And I remember going to see Phantom Menace at a public/press screening with my first ex-wife, Wendy. And we went, and they did a great job hyping it up. They re-released the original Star Wars trilogy in 1997, digitally remastered with all the changes and all that shit, and it made millions. People went out millions and millions. And by that point, 20-some years have passed, like 22 years have passed since the original Star Wars came out. And by that point, Star Wars is obviously, as you know, at that point, beyond a phenomenon. Generations, fathers and sons and mothers and daughters have handed it down to their kids, to, you know, the home video and all that stuff, the re-release. So Star Wars at this point is now the cultural phenomenon that we all know it is, and the classic piece of cinema that it will always be, and blah, blah, blah. And I don't know if, you know, I don't know, you know, how much it's affected the people, but then everybody is excited about the prequels. And even I was excited. I was like, okay, I kind of got into this mindset, this bandwagon. And then Phantom Menace, I'm at the screening, and we all know about Phantom Menace. It is a piece of shit. It is garbage. I remember sitting in that theater, and the excitement that you could feel was palpable. The theater was packed. 600 North Michigan, downtown, is where I saw it. And the lights go down, and you know, the Star Wars theme starts, and then the crawl, you know, where that tells you that Han Solo is a jagoff and Luke is a moron, and all, whatever the fuck the thing is, the crawl telling you, hey, we're now living in Watergate, whatever. And so it starts, and people are excited, and then the movie starts. It starts going, and half an hour into the movie, you can feel a little unease in the audience. About an hour in, you can feel tension because people are like, wow, this isn't good. And then towards the end of the movie, you can feel the hatred and the anger. It's palpable in the room. And then when it was over, dead silence. Like, people got up after that screening of Phantom Menace, got up and just kind of like walked around and was like, wow, am I wrong, or was that a piece of shit? Holy crap. So Phantom Menace comes out, massive disappointment, makes billions of dollars at the box office. George Lucas is at home going, ha, who cares? Throwing his money up in the air. Hey, I re-released the movies, I changed them, I'll do this, I'll do that. How much money can one asshole have? I don't know, but I'm going to get it all because I'm a fucking talentless jagoff. He's not talentless. He's actually a pretty good filmmaker who just became a maniac, a lunatic. So anyway, Phantom Menace comes out. The majority of the people who have seen it hate it because it's a piece of shit. It's a bad movie. It's a terrible movie. I had a friend go back and see it 3 times because he couldn't believe it. A Star Wars fanatic friend of mine. Couldn't believe it. And he went back and see it 3 times, and then after the 3rd time, he's like, no, it's shit. Attack of the Clones comes out. Even worse than Phantom Menace. Even worse than Phantom Menace. Okay? And then Revenge of the Sith comes out, and for about 45 minutes, that movie's a chunk of shit, and then it gets kind of cool. Like, because when Anakin starts killing kids, awesome. So I actually thought that Revenge of the Sith is by far the best of the prequels. By far. And like the end, I thought the ending was cool. I don't care. I liked it when Darth Vader went, no! I liked that. I like the whole, let's look at the creation of Darth Vader. So you sit through 2.5 fucking horrible movies for a half of a cool movie. Like when Anakin comes out, I don't know, Order 9, Order 27, when they put out the, I don't know what fucking number the order is, but whatever the number of the order is where you kill kids, that was awesome. When they put out the, hey, Order 12, go out and kill kids. When the Jedis or whatever, they're not Jedi, whatever they are, these assholes with the sword, the lightsaber shit. When they kill kids, when they killed a bunch of kids, when Anakin killed a room full of kids, I was like, hey, this is pretty cool. And then I thought the last part of the movie was pretty cool. You know, they kill off Natalie Portman. That was pretty cool. And then Darth Vader is born. I thought that was cool. So anyway, and then the prequels, they're shit. And then years go by, and, you know, again, everybody watches Star Wars, everybody loves Star Wars, despite the fact that, as far as I'm concerned, George Lucas shit all over his fans. And he didn't shit on me, because I didn't give a shit. He shit on you. If you're a Star Wars fan, George Lucas laughed at your ass, released 3 horrible movies, re-released his original movies, made you buy 900 different copies and versions of them. There was this VHS set, and then it was this DVD and that DVD. This isn't the original. And then he can't. The original movies are not available in these formats. So he made you. George Lucas not only made 3 horrible prequels and laughed in your fucking face while he sat in his mansion and counted his money, but then he re-released a bunch of shit that, as Star Wars fans, he knows you're going to buy them. So he re-released them, made other things impossible to get, that if you were going to get them, you'd have to pay a ton of money on the black market or on the internet. And then you got to have this version, you got to have that version, you got to be, if you're a Star Wars completist, like millions of people are, he is laughing at your ass. George Lucas is in his billion-dollar toilet, sitting on his billion-dollar toilet, wiping his ass with, $100,000 bills, laughing at you while he releases a bunch of shit that you buy. That's how he feels. May the fourth be with you while you spend money as the creator of that fucking thing laughs. Now, he doesn't own it anymore. Obviously, Disney owns it. And they are doing a much more respectable job, from what I understand. They respect the fans a lot more than Lucas during that time did. So I don't watch the Mandalorian or the Mandalorian or the Obi-Wan's mom and the Boba Fett's ass. I don't watch any of that shit. But I understand that Favreau and all his cronies are paying much more respect to the fans by providing them with actual quality entertainment and not making them buy shit that they shouldn't have to buy. George Lucas is a dick. He's a rich dick, is basically what it comes down to. So these are the Star Wars movies, okay? And if you're going to watch them in order, this is how you watch them in order. In order, like chronological order. Phantom Menace, then Attack of the Clones, then The Clone Wars. That's the animated movie. Then Revenge of the Sith. Then Solo, a Star Wars story. We're going chronological. Then Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Then A New Hope, which was the original Star Wars. Then Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker. Now, the sequels that came out in the 2015 or whatever it was, that J.J. Abrams rebooted, I actually like those movies better than the original trilogy. I like them better. Except for Rise of Skywalker, which sucks. Rise of Skywalker sucks. But The Last Jedi is a fucking terrific movie. The one that Rian Johnson did, by far the best of that trilogy. By far. And if you think it isn't, you're a moron. And then the Force Awakens was fun. Kind of a frame-for-frame remake of A New Hope. But it was fun, and I thought it was entertaining. But Last Jedi is terrific. Last Jedi is actually a really good movie. And of all of these Star Wars movies, there are only a few that I like. I like The Last Jedi, like legitimately. I think The Last Jedi is a very good film. I think Empire is a good film. And then I think Solo is fun, okay? And Force Awakens is fun. None of I think the final half of Revenge of the Sith is okay. But the only movie out of these 12 in the canon, the only one that's actually great, and it is by far the best Star Wars related movie ever, is Rogue One. Nothing even comes close. It is by far the best Star Wars movie. And I don't want to hear any fucking arguments, because Rogue One, without question, it's the best made film. It's the best written film. It is a standalone. You don't have to watch any of the other bullshit to like it, like me, because I don't give a fuck about any of the other stuff. The animated series, the TV shows, the books, the story. I don't care about any of that shit. I just would like to sit down and watch a good movie that is a good movie just for that running time. Like, if it's a 2-hour movie, I want that movie to be good on its own for 2 hours from beginning to end. And that's what Rogue One is. And it's not just a good movie, it's a great movie. It's by far, it's the one that I've seen the most of any of the Star Wars canon. I've seen it the most. And it still holds up the best. It's extremely well directed and well made. The characters are the best written and the most three-dimensional. The droids are the most interesting and by far the funniest. It works on every single level, and then everybody fucking dies at the end. And that's one of the great reasons why it's awesome. And it sets up the last 5 minutes of Rogue One is the best 5 minutes of anything in the Star Wars canon. The last 5 minutes of that movie, you could take that last 5 minutes and it blows away everything, the hours and hours and hours of all the other crap in the Star Wars canon, TV, movies, animated. That last 5 minutes is the best thing that's ever been Star Wars related ever. Setting up the whole thing with Princess Leia at the very end, fucking Darth Vader going down that hallway just kicking ass, all of that stuff. Nothing has even come close. That 5 minutes, nothing in the history of Star Wars has come close to the last 5 minutes of that movie. And on a whole, Rogue One is by far the best Star Wars movie. It's a great standalone movie, which is why it should be. Because you know what? Movies should be standalone movies. They should be good on their own. If you can't sit down and watch a movie from beginning to end and not understand what's happening because you have to have seen 9 other things, I don't care. I don't care. I mean, maybe, you know, and that's another reason why the Marvel Universe movies make me nuts. Like, I don't give a shit about universes and multiverses. I don't care. For me, like, and I mentioned this, and I'm actually seeing the next multiverse movie. I'm going tonight to see it. And the only reason that I'm even remotely interested is because Sam Raimi directed it. And I'm thinking maybe Sam Raimi can save the Marvel Universe from fucking sucking. But I doubt it. I don't know. Anyway, but like that's one of the things I hate about the Marvel movies is like listen, the Marvel movies, they exist in order for you to go and pay for the next one. They'll kill off characters willy-nilly. They don't care. They do not care. They don't care if you're invested. They don't care. What they do is they can, oh, well, there's this other universe that you didn't know about. Loki stuck his finger up somebody's ass, and now this universe exists where this other character lives. They kill off characters willy-nilly. You know, characters die and then they come back for a new TV series or they come back for a new movie. They don't care. The only reason that these movies exist is so that they suck you in, they get your money, and you have to come back and see the next one. And I know that sounds cynical, but it's not cynical. It's the fucking truth. The Marvel movies exist so that you go and see one and you have to go see the next one in order to understand that one. But basically it comes down to this. Spend your $15 every time you see it and they're happy. And they're going to continue to make the same shit over and over again that ignores the rules of actual movie making, that ignores the rules of killing off characters and bringing them back just because they want your money. Learn, people, learn. So anyway, the reason why Rogue One is the best is because it's a one-off. You can watch it from beginning to end. You don't have to know anything about it. So, Rogue One, by far, without question, the best movie. The best thing about Star Wars ever is Rogue One. And one of the reasons why it's great is because everybody fucking dies at the end. Everybody. And you know that going in. If you know Star Wars, if you know the New Hope movie, you know what that story is about. You know what you're going to see. When you see Rogue One, you know how it ends. You know that all those characters are going to fucking die. And that also makes it great. And that also makes it sort of like, the tone of it is sort of very like sort of late 60s Western. You know what I mean? Like Wild Bunch kind of stuff. It's got that tone to it. It's by far the best Rogue One. By far. Gareth Edwards directed the shit out of it. It's great. So anyway. Again, Close Encounters was the one that grabbed me. I know I'm in the minority on this. I know that everybody fucking loves Star Wars, and that's cool. You love something, you love it, that's cool. I just, maybe it's a cynical thing in me where George Lucas was just like making you pay for shit that you shouldn't have to pay for while laughing all the way to the bank, and that's how I feel about Marvel. I think the Marvel Universe has picked up the Star Wars, the George Lucas mantle, not the Jon Favreau mantle, where he's actually, these guys who are doing it now, Disney Plus and stuff, they're actually giving you quality entertainment. That's fine. Lucas wasn't. He was a money-grubbing asshole who was laughing all the way to the bank and laughing at his fans all the way to the fucking bank. And I think that's what the MCU is. I think the MCU is like, let's kill off this character. Doesn't matter. You know why? Bring him back. Because there's going to be these gullible Marvel fans who will pay money to see anything we throw at them. Meanwhile, everybody at Marvel and back in the offices counting their money. So anyway, I can't. Multiverse this, multiverse that, blow it out your ass. Same thing with all the Star Wars stuff. Blow it out your ass. I don't care. So, and I know I know a lot of these movies are a very important part of people's childhood, and that's great. And seriously, good for you. I'm happy for you. That's fantastic. Like what you like, love what you like. That's awesome. But I think it's a bunch of shit. I think it's a bunch of shit, and the cynical nature of me says that for a long time, Star Wars was nothing but a bunch of money-grubbing bullshit to make some jag-off richer. That's all it was, and the movies aren't very good. So, going all the way back, 1977, again, did not hit me. I was the target audience. Swing and miss, George Lucas. Did not do it for me. Close Encounters, on the other hand, like I said, brilliant. And that one, to me, still holds up. Great film. So, I'm a Close Encounters guy. I was a Close Encounters kid, not a Star Wars kid. So, anyway. Hey, May the 4th be with you. How fucking stupid is that? It's a lisping holiday, I guess. Okay. May the 4th be with you. That's what it is. It's May 4th. So we're supposed to celebrate all things Star Wars. Okay. For me, celebrating all things Star Wars is to watch Rogue One, and watch nothing else. Okay. Anyway. I'm an angry, cynical bastard, and I don't care. Rogue One, the only truly good Star Wars movie. May the 4th, and celebrate it. It's stupid.